and he made fun of me when I got into this nutrition. You know, it was just a bunch of baloney and all this. But now, you know, he's 3 years older than I am. He had to retire early. He's had how many heart attacks and surgeries? He's very debilitated.
He had 4.
Yeah. It was his
what is
lifestyle.
it, the plastic, whatever that is, and
Yeah.
then he's had 2
He had
open heart
plastic, he had a-
bypasses.
Yeah, we almost lost him several times because he lived a very sedentary lifestyle, being a truck driver, ate on the road all the time, and he's a smoker. So, you know, he's older. He's a little older than I am, but he should be, you know. But anyway, he always made fun of me for this, and so we were out there for dinner one night, and he said, "I got a joke for you." Well, him being a truck driver, he's a Christian, but being a truck driver wasn't sure what he was going to tell me. And he said, okay. He said, this man died and went to heaven. And he said, St. Peter met him at Pearly Gates, and he was giving him a tour of heaven. And he said they went to the first place they saw with this lush golf course, just state of the art, just beautiful, and all the latest equipment and everything. And St. Peter told him, he said, you can come here whenever you want, stay as long as you want, doesn't cost you anything. Oh, it's just wonderful. So they went on a little further, and they came to this big room that have all the remote televisions and games and everything, nice sofas. And he said, "Oh, this is nice." He said, "Yeah, you come here as often as you want, stay as long as you want." Nobody would bother you when they let you in and cost anything. That was really great. So they went on a little further, and they came upon this huge, if you can imagine, you know what the food courts look like in the malls, and it was just huge. Every restaurant you can think of, from Wendy's to Precinct, you know, just everything in between. And he looked at St. Peter and said, "Yeah, you can come here as often as you want to. Eat whatever you want. It won't cost you a dime. Won't gain you weight." He said, "Oh, this is great, you know." So they're walking along a little further, and the man sees his wife. And he just hauled off and knocked her down. And St. Peter said, "What would you do that for?" And he said, "Well, if it hadn't been for all of that nutritious food and that healthy bread she's been feeding me all these years, I could have been up here a long time ago." I said, "Richard, you're sick." You're sick. Anyway, let's look at digestion here. Life begins in the cell, and death begins in the colon. This is kind of a rough illustration. But as we eat food, it should be on this side. As we eat our food, you know, it goes down the esophagus and winds up in the stomach. And by the time it gets into your stomach, it's called chyme, which got all the hyaluronic acid and stuff to break it down. And this is where, hopefully, you have real fiber somewhere in your diet, not from a box or anything like that. By the way, that wheat berry has real fiber in it. Like I said, if you eat any of the samples out here, you will find out it has real fiber in it. But the fiber is not digested. Some people may not realize that.
We're looking at all that good stuff in there.
Yeah, we needed to. I meant for you to go out and try those samples. We'll get to this part and let you do that. The fiber is not digested, but the fiber feeds the flora. If you've heard of the term flora in your digestive tract, there's good flora and then there's the not so good. And when the not so good gets out of balance is when you've got problems. That's when the yeast begins to go other places in your body. This was my problem. I had no flora. I had no digestive enzymes. I didn't know it because I had taken medicine and I had just eaten, you know, what was considered the healthy American diet. So I had no enzymes. And here's an example too. If you've known anyone that is elderly, I experienced this with my father. We lost him 8 years ago. But my dad was always very muscular. He wasn't stout or heavy, but he was very muscular, high energy, just all the time. He was a preacher, but he did everything. He just, all the time, go, 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 go. And when he became debilitated, he was nothing like that at all. They had him on too much blood pressure medicine. He just sounded like this, you know. Of course, they had him on several medications, and I talked to the doctor about it. It took him off some of them, and he got a little bit of energy left. But very debilitated. Dad was always a good eater. Ate everything in front of him, but he kept losing weight and losing weight and losing weight and losing weight, and then everything that he ate was going right straight through him. I was studying and learning all of this at the time, and I thought, this is just not right. You know, what's happening with him? And he was into nutrition as much as he could be, I guess, because my mom wasn't at all. She was, you know, big cook, you know, nothing healthy. But anyhow,
Country
What-
cook.
oh yeah.
But it was good.
The old
Oh.
fashioned
Yum butter.
It was good. But after I got healthy and everything and spending a weekend there, I would come home, you know, but I learned because Dad was diagnosed with high blood pressure years before, and he'd been taking medication a long time, and then they found some heart problems, and you know, they were on like 12, 14 pills. And so I learned that all of that had killed and destroyed all of the digestive enzymes. They had none. And so this is what was happening with him. And we have a friend now. We have a close friend. And I've said some things here and there, but you can tell if the door's open or not, and you can't go past that because you have to respect people. But it's really sad because they can't go anywhere and do anything, just, you know, losing everything. And he was just getting skinnier and skinnier. When Dad went to heaven, he was a skeleton. Was a skeleton. Anyhow, because of the American diet and medication, the digestive enzymes that you have to have as it travels from the stomach into the small intestines, this is where a lot of things take place. In the small intestines, the fiber and the digestive enzymes break down your food, and the fiber takes out toxins right there in the small intestine. And it also acts like a magnet for nutrients and goes throughout your body, through your blood system. So if you don't have those things, you're really going to be depleted. The fiber doesn't digest, but it is food for the flora. Okay. This is Shapley's probiotics. This is the probiotic. This is the prebiotic. It feeds this. But, and then I didn't bring these to Jess, I forgot to. There's a little bottle of digestive enzymes. I lived on that for a year until I got well, until I started doing the bread. But I lived on those enzymes because I didn't know I didn't have any enzymes, and this was what was so going on with me. But anyhow, this is the fiber is just a real necessity, like this, okay? Then it travels over into your colon. This is your bowel. And if you have real fiber, it acts like a scrubber, you know, going through your colon, and it scrubs it clean. You know that hamburger we saw? Stuff like that is stuck. It can be stuck in your colon for years, you know, and you don't even know it. And so if you have irritable bowel or anything like that, that is a lot of the problem. So that's the job of the real fiber it's the first line of defense for your body. It's just like a cleanser as you eat. Now, Dr. Brewer teaches never to eat pork. Here's what you look like if you don't have any enzymes, okay, no fiber. It's just, you know, your colon is all pumped up, and this is where death really begins there. And one of the things that upset me so bad when I was in the hospital, a 42-year-old man that was dying of colon cancer. They already taken out sections of his colon, but he was there. Last I saw him, he wasn't doing well. So that's the purpose of flora or fiber, and it's so vital that we have it in our food. Also, vitamin E is so very important too, because as it's going through, let's turn it back on this side. Oops. As it's going throughout your body and into your cell, vitamin E is the protector for the fatty acids to get it to the cell, because you know about oxidation, and so if you don't have those nutrients there, it doesn't even make it to the cell. And one of the first things it does is to build and protect the membrane of the cell. And so having that protected cell is vital to life. It starts on a cellular level. So antibiotics, like we talked about, sometimes everybody has to have antibiotics for a period of time. And But when you go on antibiotics, be on a probiotic at the same time, because this protects that flora that's in your system. Now, as far as antibiotics go, I think it's been a couple of years since Tom and me have had any upper respiratory, we didn't take antibiotics then. But this is something I swear by, okay? These two products I absolutely swear by. This is ASAP Silver Solution, and a company called Actiz, A-C-T-I-V-Z, also makes it. And you can get it online, you can get it through Amazon. You can go to Jungle Gyms or one of your health food stores. Susan's probably down on Beachmont carries it. This is the antibiotic gel. This stuff has 90 uses to it, kills viruses and kills bacteria within minutes.
Is that in here somewhere?
Um,
I need to write that down.
Yeah, it's on the, I think, the last page, underneath natural antibiotic. Yeah, it's underneath natural antibiotic. I think I just have this term. Now if you don't have, if your problem is not an infection of bacteria, it won't do anything. But this is not colloidal silver either. Colloidal silver is silver is what causes euphoria, because it causes out of solution and it makes your skin. But this doesn't cause solution. This stuff will kill MRSA in minutes. Have a personal example. Tom's older brother, and thank God for much prayer and trying to, share some things with him. He's better than he's been in about 5 years, but we almost lost him to kidney failure last summer. But anyway, much prayer and some other things. He's doing much better. But we went to a family reunion last summer, real hot. We were sitting outside, and we'd been there a few minutes, and Larry, his brother's name is Larry, he was sitting down over here, and I just walked over there. Somebody got up, and there was an empty chair there, so I just went over and I sat down next to Larry, and I started talking to him, and just making small talk, and I looked down, he had on shorts, it was real hot. And his knee looked like somebody had hit him numerous times with a ball bat. It was all but split open, and it was real blue, and it was red, it was cracked, it just looked awful. And before I even thought, I said, Larry, what'd you do to your knee? He said, oh, they told me I've got MRSA. Of course, he's on dialysis, so he's in out of the clinic all the time, exposed with everything. He said, oh, they told me I've got MRSA. And I'm real careful what I say to people about things, just because you don't know how they might receive it, and sometimes they don't receive it, especially family. And I said, Larry, are you open to trying anything natural? He goes, yeah. So I went over to Mary Ellen, his wife, and I told her, and she said, yeah, what are you talking about? And I sent him this. And I told him, I said, take 2 tablespoons of this in the morning and this at night, and put this on, 5-6 times a day. Just rub it right on there. A week and a half later, we were at the family dinner, and it was just a little tiny spot on his knee. And I said, wow, that's really exploded. Yeah. But research says that this kills MRSA in 7 minutes. So it's all natural.
Did you say that goes on the skin?
This goes on the skin, anything you've got on the skin,
Like a rash or anything?
unless it's allergic, unless it's an allergy reaction, or if there's a spiritual root to it, it won't. But if you've got a scratch, a cut, and like I said, this MRSA, we can have this on. It's really good stuff. And this, we've been into settings, well, anytime you're, where were we the other day? I said, I need to go home and spray my mouth and my nostrils. Yeah. I had some, I went for my yearly physical. I hadn't had one for about a year and a half. I don't go to see my doctor except for that, but I was in there for the physical, and all these people in there coughing and sniffing and carrying on. I said to Thomas, I need to go spray it. But if you feel something coming on, you can take a tablespoon of this and it wipes it out. So that is a solution. You can get it on Amazon. I do carry it on the shelf if somebody didn't want to order it. But you can get this on Amazon.
But you said you can get it at a health food store too? The ASAP stuff?
I know that Jungle Gyms Eastgate carries it. And I'm satisfied the others do. I'm sure, like the Tea Relief, treadmill cream. Susan carries that, so I'm sure she probably does. I go there sometimes, but I don't buy a lot of stuff there because I've researched everything she's got.
So basically, like I'm dealing, like I went to the doctor Friday, I have a UTI, so they're doing this culture thing, so instead of doing the antibiotic, which they're gonna give me, once they figure out what
They sure will.
So I should probably do that.
It is called Silver Solution. ASAP is the company who makes it. There's another company who makes it, Activz, it's ACTIVZ. And you get on, I order mine from Amazon. I keep these on the shelf all the time. I winterize my kids. I give them Christopher's, I give them eucalyptus drainage, I give them garlic syrup, I give them this and this, and say, there, run out and let me know.
Can I see that? I'm gonna, because I know I have to take, she's gonna prescribe antibiotics.
Here, yeah, just
What's gonna happen?
pass it around. Yeah.
Because that piece of paper you're talking about is not in the folder.
No?
It's missing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So for a kidney issue, for a UTI, I should do like 2 tablespoons of this?
A kidney infection is an infection, right?
Right.
Bacteria, yeah.
So 2 tablespoons of this
Yeah.
a day?
Morning and night.
Just
How
drink
long?
it, just straight.
For how long? I mean, when will I know it's over with, I guess?
If you know you have an infection like that, I would use it probably for 5 or 6 days.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, we don't, and if you do,
There's no taste to it. It's like
Not
drinking
really.
water.
not really.
Yeah.
And if you, like if you've been on medication or something, bless you, I would definitely do a cleanse of some type. I would do.
Well, that was the problem. I did a cleanse before I ended up with this. The cleanse I did, I think, screwed up my kidneys.
Well, depending on, you have to be careful with those too. I did one that was pretty drastic too, because I was in research and, yeah, I don't recommend.
Well, it was the master cleanse, which was lemon juice, maple syrup, and a lot of salt. And the salt, I think, created the kidney stones, I guess.
Wow,
I looked it up online.
With the lifestyle management program, we do it with food. And then there's Shackle products that can use, there's about 4 of them that you do it every so often. There's a liver detox, it's real important to keep your liver cleanses, medicated.
I
Everything
believe
is
it cleanses. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cholesterol. I want to talk about cholesterol real quick, and then we can stop and do the rest of it in one tiny samples. I'm going to be, step outside the box here, but cholesterol is a myth. And if you're in my downline, I sent this article over, I did a blog on it and sent it to my downline a few weeks ago, and I got a lot of responses, which I asked for, so feel free to respond. And I got a lot of responses from it because people are really tripping up with this. All these statin drugs and how harmful they are, they really cause problems, everything from skin rashes to heartburn to impotence to muscle problems. They're really nasty drugs. And we've been told for 20, 25 years that cholesterol is the culprit. It keeps, builds up plaque in your blood and all like this. Well, Dr. Stephen Sinatra, I follow him a little bit, him and Dr. McCullough, some of them that are more on the holistic side. He said, he was noticing with his patients, people with real high cholesterol had no heart disease. And many of them that had real low cholesterol really had acute heart disease. So he was researching this. But cholesterol is a nutrient. It is a nutrient that is a precursor to every hormone that your body produces, whether it's a sex hormone, whether it's a growth hormone, whether it's a thyroid hormone, whatever it is. So what they're doing with the statin drugs is really causing a lot of unbalance in the system, and especially a hormone imbalance. It's really, and then you've got all these symptoms, the night sweats and the mood swings and low T and, all this stuff, because it is suppressing and stopping the production of hormones in your body. So cholesterol is a needed nutrient for that, but it's also very much needed in your brain. It's very, very bad. So cholesterol is not the culprit, but what is inflammation. Where does the inflammation come from? Same thing we've been talking about the whole time. It's the American diet and medication causes the inflammation, and that's what the problem is. So if you are on a decent diet, you try to eat as whole food as you can, you're on some decent supplements, your body is going to detox itself. Now, we eat enough of the American diet, just, even on a weekly basis, if you go to dinner somewhere or you know, whatever, especially if you're away from home for a couple of days, and it happens. So Tom and I do a detox regularly just to keep things as clean as we can.
What's your regular schedule? Is it every 3 months or, I mean, I
Sometimes
like a
not.
major one.
Yeah, if we were really busy, when I was in the stores and baking 8 days a week, we did well to do it twice a year. I didn't have a life, I didn't, it was terrible.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we try to do it like every 3 months.
And a lot depends on, you know, the activity, you know. If we're out an awful lot and you eat in restaurants, well, we do a detox a little bit more frequent, so.
Yeah, and especially after the holidays, because now we don't, I mean, we used to be real bad after holidays because you have all that stuff, and we're finding that you find once your body gets healthy, and say you go on a trip for, you know, a week, I notice when I go to, and my sister tries to be healthy, she really does, but her husband, no, that's, you know, just not, he was a drug rep for a company, Abbott company for years, so he doesn't, you know, he's beginning to see some of it, but he didn't go for this at all. So she really struggles with this, but if we would go visit my family, especially when my parents were still here, you get to where your body won't tolerate it. I mean, you can handle it for a couple of days and be okay, but boy, that third day, I gotta get away from it. My body just does not tolerate it well, and some people maybe can, but I just don't tolerate the stuff very well, and that's fine because I don't like what that other thing did too. So cleansing, I think I talked a little bit about that as far as how you do it. We do it with food, supplementation, children's issues. This is a thing that, and this is, I said Ted Boer taught on this too, but I have done assessments on several children that had failure to thrive, and the parents, of course, had already had them to the doctors, and all the tests come back normal. You know, nothing shows up wrong, but yet these kids don't grow. They don't develop like they're supposed to. And Shackley used to have a thing online, I don't know if they still do it now or not, a family that had children like this. They had the oldest one older. And what happened was the mom was, she had some issues and was on some Shackley nutrients, and her first child, it was backwards. The first child was born with failure to thrive. She got on the program, the second one was fine. Then she got away from it, and the third one was debilitated like that, and the fourth one was healthy. Those kids never make that up. My daughter-in-law has a sister who she had a miscarriage, and I thought I might have had a clue about that, but you know, it wasn't needed to say anything. She had one child, and then the second child has still, she's 8 now. Katie is 8, and she's still real tight. She didn't walk till she was about 4, and didn't talk. And she's still, you can tell her brother's, you know, normal size, and she's a real tiny child. And they just never make up for that. It is a lack of nutrition when they're in pregnancy, when the mother is carrying the child. Now, some of them that are born with autism, the same thing. I don't say every case is, but, you know, they say that the vitamin D deficiency causes autism, and it's, I've not had to deal with that, but it's a terrible thing to have to go through. And then all of this gluten intolerant thing and celiac and so forth. I really don't think the doctors really understand how they treat it, so they put that label on it because they don't know anything else. But I was told that too. I was told I was gluten intolerant, and I was told that I was a celiac. But I eat bread every day. Every day. I usually, my favorite is the chocolate chip muffin, but you know, he eats a cinnamon roll and I eat those, and I eat cookies every day.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So I eat it every day, and I don't have a good problem with it. As far as the pork goes, it's one thing Dr. Brewer says never to eat because they're so full of toxins. And this, I could relate to this because when I was a kid, my mother's parents, he was a farmer, and when I was real little, we'd go visit the farm and stuff, and I would go watch my grandpa feed all the animals and the slop that those critters ate, and they would even eat their own excrement. So when Dr. Boer taught that, I thought, oh yeah, well, we love bacon and ham and all like that. So I just got away from all that. And my daughter-in-law, Kristen, she said this to me. She goes, well, Mom, because we always had, we'd have turkey, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and honey baked ham. Kids love honey baked ham. So she really hated to give that up. And she says, Mom, she said, doesn't it make sense? She said, we eat the bread every day, right? And yeah, and it's a good cleanser. She said, we can eat ham on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we eat the bread the next day, it's going to go right out. I said, okay, it makes sense.
Okay.
So, made sense. So we still have our ham, but we don't eat it on a daily basis. Men's issues, same thing. Prostate cancer, I have worked with several men that have prostate cancer, enlarged prostate, which is benign prostatic hyperplasia. Some of the treatments that they have is atrocious. I used to take care of them in the hospital, some of the things that they go through with that. Erectile dysfunction, all of these things are caused by low testosterone, and if they're taking statin drugs, that's a killer of the production of that hormone, or any hormone. It's not just men, women's issues too, diverticulosis, arthritis, high blood pressure, cancer. It's all related to that. Now, the hormone therapy, I went through this because I was trying to get my gynecologist to test my hormones. This was crazy. Lady gynecologist, I tried to get it for several years. I was starting to go through the change very young. I didn't know my mother did. I didn't remember. Sisters told me later. I didn't know she did. But very, very young, and I could tell these changes going on with me, and I wanted her to test my hormones, and she wouldn't do it. And finally she said to me, she said, well, they really don't show anything. And I said, then why did the test exist? She never would, so I quit going to her, and I went to somebody else. They wouldn't test them either. It just didn't make sense to me. Why do they have the test if you don't use them? Why are they created in the first place? Why does it show a level like any other test does? I had to go out of this area to another state to have a blood test done on my hormones. As before I knew anything. And this doctor did tell me you need to find a compound pharmacy in your area so that you can get these. I'm sorry?
What did you say?
Go ahead.
So anyhow, I really didn't tell a lot of difference. And so I was learning about this saliva stuff. I went to a seminar from Martha Wilmore from Canada. And she had been very debilitated at a young age, and so it's like when you know there's a good revival going on or a good seminar going on. And I was hungry for this stuff. Everything I heard, I'd go here and here and here and here, learn everything I could. And she was really, really awesome. But she was teaching about this saliva stuff. So I was doing all this research, and I couldn't find anybody. Nobody would do it. Nobody would do it for me. So I go online and I found ZRT Lab, and they offered this kit. It was a saliva testing. It was run by doctors and nurses and everything. So I ordered the kit, and I did the thing, and then I went through the kit, did the testing, all the saliva, and I mailed it back to them. So they called me and they said, who should we mail this to? Well, my doctors didn't recommend that. This is what I found out. Through the compounding pharmacy. They sent it to the compound pharmacy because the pharmacist knows all about this. They know how to interpret this, they can read all of this, and they call the doctor and say, can I have a prescription for this person? And they'll okay it, some of them, not all of them. Our doctor will, because that's what I said, because when I first went to Dr. Roberts, he said, why are you here? Because I wasn't sick, and I said, well, I took my bread and took my Shaklee, and I said, I want to know, because I didn't have a doctor on record, I said, I want to know if I get sick and doing all this, I can't get well, and I'll take your medicine. He said, fine. So that's how I go to him, once every year and a half, whatever, for physical, and check everything out to just make sure everything's perfect.
Is he a holistic primary care
No,
doctor?
he's just a regular medical doctor, but he's one of few who will do this. There's one in, Michael was affiliated.
Dr. Grogan over in Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, Better Rock
Mike
Park.
Grogan.
So I'm looking for a different primary care
It's
doctor.
in Crescent Springs.
And Crescent Springs is where we pick up the wheat products too, so.
Oh, there you go.
And, yeah,
Right off Butter up there.
Did
It's
Dr.
around
Roberts,
Bowman.
where's Dr. Roberts at then?
Dr. Roberts is down in Beachmont.
That's where I live. I think I'd go to Beach.
Yeah, I really like him because he will listen to you. If you don't, this is my philosophy with doctors, because the ones I went to, all they wanted to do was shove medicine in me.
Exactly, that's all they need.
And so I actually found them through our pastor, but if a doctor is not willing to listen to you, if they don't want to hear anything you've got to say, you find another doctor, because they're supposed to be in it. I took that oath too. I took that oath, and if they're not in it to help their patients, because the patient is the one who knows this stuff, it's your body. And if they're not going to listen to you, you find somebody who will, and who will do what they can. And Dr. Roberts is like that. He's always listened,
Yeah.
and he just puts his check mark. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if you find something that works for you, hey, okay.
Is he affiliated with like Christ or?
Yes.
Mhm.
Christ, because he's gonna
Yeah,
be in my
Christ.
plan and all that.
Yeah, there's others out there.
And
Is
he's
there-
got an associate Piersman if he can't get in with Roberts, because I don't think Roberts is taking any more patients.
I don't know.
Piersman isn't either, because I tried to get him.
Huh?
Piersman isn't either, because I tried to.
No.
Well,
Well,
I
try
don't know
Dr.
if
Berman
Linda
down in
knows
Buttermilk.
it.
That's not too far
How do you
away.
spell
Grogan
that,
is-
doctor?
Grogan,
I miss, go slow. G.
Grogan, Mike Grogan, just tell him I told you to call.
And it's Crescent Springs.
It's Crescent Springs, he's independent, he's not associated with any hospital whatsoever.
Also,
Costing
it's out, so
$2.2 million.
he probably doesn't take insurance then.
Huh?
He probably doesn't do insurance then, if he's in.
He will help you file all of that with your insurance, and your insurance will go out of network.
Yeah, that's a problem for me.
Well, that's a good doctor. He'll work with you.
He'll sit
That's what you want.
there for 45 minutes with the patient.
But you have to probably pay $100 an hour or something.
No, it's not that expensive.
Yeah, but you have to. We spend a lot of money doing this, and today we don't take any medicine.
None.
None.
I'm 69 on 0 medications.
No medicine. We don't have any issues, and I tell you what, that's priceless. Because he is in the middle of 6 siblings, okay, and I have 2 older than me and 1 younger, and every one of our siblings are in debilitated conditions, every one of them.
I don't take any medication either.
Now they're listening and asking questions because what's up with this?
They're the hardest to get the lesson.
It is, and so you have to be careful. You have to wait until they're ready.
Yeah.
But his sister, that's younger than him, 3 years ago, she had the gallbladder removed. She was so deathly ill, and she had a stroke too. She came back from that, but and she's way overweight and stuff. They're beginning to ask some questions as to what's going on.
So that Dr. Robert, what's his first name? Just
Christopher,
Christopher. I mean, just.
624-9100.
64 what?
624-9100.
624-9100?
Yeah. He's the best one
It's
that I
worth a
know.
try.
It's worth
And
a try.
they have a nurse practitioner that she goes to. She loves her.
Linda Dole.
Yeah, I've never
Yeah,
seen her.
I've seen her a lot in the last couple of weeks because I just got a new job and I had to go in for physical.
Right,
She'll
Yeah,
sit
that's
there and
me.
talk to you about things.
right.
The entire staff is so accommodating. I love them.
Yeah, you looked at me and said, your EKG's perfect, your urine's perfect, this is good. You're doing good, whatever you're doing. The lifestyle management program is another aspect of a health connection. Talked about earlier, the nutritional assessments. Of course, I teach the classes, and I'm putting what we're doing now, I'm putting it on the website. And the lifestyle management program is, it's not a weight management program, but that happens because it's really lifestyle change is what it is. And if somebody comes to me and says, my doctor says I've got to lose this weight or else, and I've done this, and this, and this, and this, and this, nothing's working, I want to do this now, then I'll take them through a 4-week program. But if they come to me and they say, I really got to do this and I don't have a clue what to do, then it's extended. It depends on what the person needs, but that's the other aspect of it. Oh, I think I got my pages, that's why, I got my pages mixed up, I'm sorry.
Well, one thing with the weight management, how many people do you know, they try this diet, that diet, and they lose, and then they gain back. And most of the time, they gain back more than what they lost. And it's just a cycle over and over and over, and they get frustrated.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I had forgotten to kind of tell how I fell into this because my clients a lot of my clients did have weight issues. And I never really had a weight issue myself, but they did. So I would research all those different ones that were out there, whether it was Nutrisystem or Weight Watchers or South Beach, whatever. Researched them and I would recommend something to them and they would have good success. But then a little while later, they'd gain back their weight plus some. And so I was sitting downstairs in the family room one day, and I just had all this stuff spread out on the coffee table. And Tom was down there, but I know he's listening. I was just talking, and I thought, well, if somebody took this part of this program and left that off and put this part of this one with it, and so on and so forth, I said it would work. And he turned around to me and said, why don't you do it? I thought, wow. So I did a little bit more research, several months, and then I was doing a nutrition class at Curbs at the time. I had 4 ladies come aboard and want to do it, and 2 of them stayed with it and 2 of them didn't, but they had real success with it. And one gal was in our church shortly after that asked me, she really wanted to do it. She wanted to do it for her husband. I mean, she needed to too, but he was a real concern. He was a young man, he was really way overweight and having some health issues. And so she was doing it for him. And he lasted about 2 weeks and he quit. But she stayed in there, and it shocked me because she had 3 teenagers who were very non-compliant, and the husband. And she stayed with it, and she started at 200. She's on my website. You can hear her story. It's got pictures before and after. She started at 200, and she went all the way down to 125, and then she stabled down to about 135. So it, will adjust to your body build and so forth. And so I asked her if she would do a testimonial for me because I was building my website, new website. And she said, what do you want me to say? And I said, well, say what you want to say, whatever. And she really surprised me what she said. She said it was the easiest thing she'd ever done.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, and I don't see her all the time now because she goes to a different church. But I ran into her at Kroger just a few weeks ago, and I said, wow, you really look great. She said, I picked up a couple, but it's not hard because once you get onto that. So she's done real well. I was real proud of her and others who have stayed with it too. Essential oils, in your flyer, I put a printout about essential oils because I have people ask me about this all the time, what are essential oils? And I think they're good. And I didn't used to even talk about this because there's so many other aspects of my business. I don't want to overload people. But I've worked with essential oils for about 15 years. And so I just listed some things that if you want to try them, these are things that you can put together. I guess the last time Tom had an upper respiratory was about 2 years ago. And
Almost 3.
he came home, it was about this time of year, he came home one day and was working around with another guy that really had
I was working in a school.
Yeah, working in school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, man, he was all congested and stuff after dinner. He went downstairs and got in the recliner and he said, I don't feel good. And I took his temperature and he was all flushed and everything. So, boy, I rubbed him down. I rubbed him down, put him under the inhaler, gave him Christopher's mucolyptic, gave him the silver, and had him sniffing and stuff and rubbed him down. And I did that all night, and I did it the next morning, and the next night he was good to go. But they really are good. I am affiliated with Young Living. You can find them online. I'm not a distributor. I used to be with Young Living, and they are a very good company. They're expensive. And there are some other essential oils that I think are good ones too.
What about the one that's real popular, the one that has, like, I don't even remember the name of it, not Melaleuca, but there's another company out
I've
there.
never used them, yeah, might be.
There's another one, a girl I work with, she does the
You don't really,
oils.
yeah, you don't really like that oil?
Oh, no, I've not tried them, I don't know. I'm just saying that I've used the Windmere, WINDMERE, use theirs, and I used, I think there's one or two that now makes NOW. So,
Now, how
I,
do you read this? Like it says here, one drop of this, one drop of that, like, let's say if I have a headache,
okay,
you massage it, I guess you take one drop of peppermint.
oh, let me explain
I don't know,
this.
I don't know
Yeah.
how to read this.
Okay, at the top, steam inhalation is just that. You know, you can put it in a container and just, steam it through the room, or you've got these little.
Oh, you can put it
things.
like on your stove and put it in
Yes.
water and let it steam.
And it says 1 drop each of thyme, tea tree, lavender, clove. You can put it on a tissue. You can just put those drops right on a
Oh.
tissue and just smell it right off of there. Red thyme, peppermint, eucalyptus, and clove. Massage on the neck and check this chest. This is what I did with Tom. I put a drop of lemon, 2 of eucalyptus, 3 of rosemary, and I diluted it in 1 teaspoon of carrier oil. And the carrier oils I put on the bottom for you. Almond, coconut, grapeseed, java, and hemp.
You just make
Those-
one of those and then.
Yeah, I think I have them all. And just use different ones, because almonds real good, coconut's real good for your skin too. You can dilute those. General headache, apply neat, that means to directly on your skin, you don't have to. Unless it calls for dilution, you don't have to. 3 drops of lavender and a drop of peppermint. Gastric stomach headaches, it's got the recipe for that. Massage on the back and the neck. Ganglion cyst, you can put that in a teaspoon of carrier oil. Sun damaged skin, recipe for that. Moisturizer for the skin. I don't use any commercial moisturizers, cleansers, anything like that. Everything is the oils.
So what is the 4 drops of Gentle Baby? Is that an oil?
That is an oil from Young Living. I don't know that any other company uses it, but I did notice this on when I was researching some things on Amazon, and they had some oils that popped up and said this is like Young Living. So,
So you just add those into like a little container and just
yeah,
put on your face?
put them on a dark bottle. You can find those at Jungle Gyms.
I've
It's
seen
the little dark bottles with the dropper. Yeah. Moisturizer is really good for the skin. So,
I've never heard of, I mean, I've heard of frankincense, but I didn't know you could use it on your face.
oh yeah.
What's the
Smells
ganglion
good, too.
cyst made up of? Is it oils or is it
Calcium.
calcium?
Move over that way, because yeah, that's better.
Okay. Is this better?
Yeah,
Your next printout is a natural cough formula.
you're fine now.
Okay. I know, I was just stepping up on the throat. This is very easy to make, and it's wonderful. If you know anybody that's got an upper respiratory or bronchitis, and they're just coughing and hacking and can't get any sleep, can't get any rest, this works. And you put 2 tablespoons of honey, 2 tablespoons of preferably organic apple cider vinegar, 4 or 5 drops of lemon oil. This is not lemon juice, it's lemon oil. And 8 ounces of water, and just sip it and drink it.
So the lemon oil, can I just like go to Jungle Gyms and get lemon oil? What brand now, brand? Lemon
I
oil?
think they even do carry now brand. And I bought some at Jungle Gyms too.
Because some of them you can't ingest, but some of them you can only put on your skin.
Yeah. That's why I did this little printout for you. Foods never to eat is your next printout, I think. This is suggestions from Dr. Ted Ward. Luncheon meats, processed bacon, sausage, hot dogs, pork, and we've already talked about that. No temperature that you cook these foods with will destroy the parasites. And I saw as a child what these animals eat. So children who eat 3 hot dogs a week are 50% higher risk for leukemia. Besides accidents, the number 1 killer among children is cancer. You see commercials all the time for St. Jude and what's the other one? The other hospital.
Shriners.
Yeah. Aspartame is NutraSweet or Equal, Splenda. All of those are very, very toxic. If you want a non-caloric sweetener, use stevia. Stevia is an herbal sweetener. You can get it in dropper form. Susan's got them, Kroger's got them.
I don't know, what brand do you usually like? What kind of stevia brand do you like?
Sweet leaf.
Oh, you like sweet leaf?
Hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils and margarine, not butter. Butter is another one of those misnomers that society has said, stay away from saturated fats and all like that. Our body needs them. Those are the omegas. We need those. And the
Need-
trans fats
Need
not.
what? I'm sorry, I was writing down, what did you say, need what?
Saturated fats.
Which is nuts and stuff, not
Mhm.
butter.
Yeah, yeah. The butter is the healthy one. The margarine is not. That's the
I
one
thought all
that's
butter
not.
was bad.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's another yeah. Those are the things that cause heart disease. Shellfish, and I love shrimp, and I love oysters, and I love all that stuff. But when I heard Dr. Fuller say that they were scavengers of the, they're like pigs, only they're on the bottom of the sea. They're scavengers. They eat everything. Okay, this is why he almost died too. Dr. Brewer, to give you a background on him, he was 27 years old, coming out of medical school, very healthy. Oh, I'm sorry. Very healthy.
You're fading out.
Oh, okay. He was very healthy, into gymnastics, and was very muscular and all that. And he became very sick, had a heart attack on the road, had to pull over the side of the road. And he had toxicity of the heart, and he almost died, came very close to dying. And he had a friend during that time who came to talk to him and see him, and he said, "What's wrong with you?" And he told him what was wrong, and he said, "If things don't turn around, I'm dying." And so his friend talked to him a little bit about his diet and so on and so forth. And Ted said, I was offended. I was a doctor. He was not, and I was offended. And so I wasn't going to do it. But he said I continued to get worse, and I knew I was going to die. So he turned things around. Of course, he's still alive. He's on a lot of TV. He was on a TV program the other day, I think. But he became toxic. He had a diet very high in shellfish, and that's of course when
Shrimp and stuff, lobster.
yeah, very toxic and full of shrimp. Mercury, full of shrimp. Junk foods, of course, Twinkies. They'll sit on the shelf for 20 years. They're so processed. Omega-3s are really good for heart, brain, and joints. And I've got a personal story about that with my little granddaughter, who Isaac and Melody. Isaac was just real quick about everything, and Melody was always in her own little world. Just everything was beautiful. Sweet little girl. Smart and everything. But she wasn't like Isaac at all. Well, when they started school, they're only a year apart. Started school. She's in kindergarten, and the teachers are sending papers home with her. And Kristen said that the school even called and said just can't get her to focus. She doesn't pay attention to anything. She's wanders off in the world. And so anyway, this was going on, and they couldn't get her to focus or anything at home or anything. And I know I would babysit, with them when they were young, so I'd see this. And I said, Kristen, why don't we do an assessment on her and just see where it shows up? Because you don't think about this in a little 5-year-old kid. But anyway, we did an assessment, and the thing that stood out on her assessment were the omegas. It was missing in her. And I'm going, wow, how interesting. So there is a product that Shaklee sells called Omega Guard, and that's what that is. Okay, there's some little tiny gel caps. So Kristen bought some, and she started giving them to her. And it was just a few days, the teacher called Kristen. She said, I don't know what you're doing, but this is a different kid. She said, I don't have any problem with her, finishes her homework and all like that, finishes her assignment. So that told me something. I thought, wow, that's really amazing. I knew that those things were healthy for your heart and for your bones and your joints. I didn't know how important it was.
It's very good for your brain, especially
Very
for the
good
kids
for
that
your
play football and stuff. They should
Yeah.
take up this.
Yeah.
Omega.
Yeah. She hasn't had any problems since then, that's for sure. The monosodium gluconate, that's an MSG, which is a preservative in your flavorings in your food, so watch that and make sure as you read your labels that you don't find that. Dairy is for babies, period. And babies need the dairy because they don't have developed digestive systems and they can't break down the food. But once they're 2 years old and once they're developed, they have a digestive system, then the dairy products cause mucus and inflammation. And a lot of adults suffer with this too. I know that was part of my problem too, and allergies galore, and I didn't know it was because I drank milk, but that's the way I was raised. You're supposed to drink milk. It's good for your bones, your teeth, and all like that. No.
It actually
If
takes
you want-
the calcium away from your
No,
bones.
yeah, it does. It does. It's just like soda pop, Coke and all like that. It takes those right.
Feeds your bones.
It absolutely does. So you get your calcium in your food, in your veggies.
Right.
And then, of course, excessive alcohol. And I say excessive alcohol because of cirrhosis of the liver. It's a horrible death to die. I did that in nursing. Saw that in nursing. But I had somebody say to me one time, well, wait a minute. You said, because I was just saying alcohol. The Bible says, Timothy says, take wine for the stomach's sake. And then Jesus' first miracle was turning water into wine. And that was not grape juice. I had to know that was wine. So I put excessive alcohol in there.
Brenda, on the shrimp, I thought we needed mercury. They tell you to eat, they tell you to eat the fish with the, tuna and.
They tell you to, but I don't eat it because it's very toxic. And they even tell people who've had dental work, with all that mercury, that as you get things redone or have other work to get that old stuff out of your mouth, because they were finding that a lot of people were having health issues because of the fillings
Sure.
in their teeth. Yeah.
And I think that it also puts lead in your body. I mean, we have enough lead out there, but I think it would add the lead into your
It's not
body.
good. It
Arsenic
doesn't
and
make you-
Lead and mercury never go away.
No, it never does.
And that's one of the things with animals, the food that you get in the stores. You really want to stay with the organic as much as possible because, you don't know what's being fed to these animals. And what's being fed to the animals goes into their
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, their meat,
Read
and
your
you eat the
packages.
meat, and you're getting that same stuff. And that's where a lot of the obesity comes from,
It is.
because they feed these animals chemicals to build them up quickly.
Yeah.
And you eat that, you feed it to the kids, and they get big. And you wonder, they're not eating anymore, but they're getting bigger. And you see it really in the people nowadays. When we were young, someone that was, 6 foot tall was tall. Now, what is it? No, it's,
My daughter who's 13
Yeah.
does dairy. Let me tell you, she's the same height as me.
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah,
And her
that's
feet
true.
are
That's
bigger
true.
than mine.
and look at the football players and that, they're just getting huge.
They're getting big.
Yeah.
Kids are taller and
In
bigger.
high school,
Well, they're pumping hormones and
yeah.
Nice
So,
thing.
a lot
yeah,
of the girls are
and
developing
Yeah.
that
their
all
Read your
sticks
labels.
in you.
Yeah, with the eggs, like I read the egg cartons.
hormone imbalances, or they call them xenoestrogens, the
Yes.
fake estrogen.
I get my eggs from my neighbor, she has chickens.
Really?
They've always
Where do you
got some.
live?
I live in Williamsburg, the lady behind me, she has chickens, she always has at least 10 dozen in her. in her
Really, because I
refrigerator.
had a
Really?
gentleman, I was buying them between,
It was out in
She gets a
Batavia
dozen a
somewhere.
day, she said, she has 13 chickens, and she's got babies now, so she's gonna have even more. She gets 13 a day, cause they all lay, she has 13 females, and she gets 13 eggs a day. So she gets a dozen a day.
I'll give her names.
She's always had a
because
stockpile.
I used to get the chickens from them because they didn't put the hormones, antibiotics
Yeah.
in the.
And they're free range too, she doesn't
Yeah.
cage them or anything.
There's where two, and the foxes got them, they didn't start up again, so, but I read, when I buy them at Kroger, I always read on there, make sure they're that kind that they
Yeah.
add that, and read your package of meat, when you buy meat. I don't buy meat in the store, I get ours from Zaycon, if you're interested in that, Zaycon. They deliver, at, Love and Faith Church,
Oh,
on
what-
Copper Hill.
Back up.
Zaycon.
Z-A.
Zaycon. It's beyond organic, and they're cheaper than the store.
And
Much
it's
cheaper.
meat.
It's meat.
They
They have
deliver to where? Solid.
Solid Rock. Yeah, Solid Rock. It used, yeah.
Solid Rock South. They deliver to.
They have, I think there's one in, up on, what is it, Blue Ash there. Can't think of it. They deliver Blue Ash, several places in Cincinnati, and you buy it in bulk, and they deliver it, you go pick it up, and, it's beyond organic. It's stuff.
Anderson has that, in the summertime on Saturdays, they have that farmer's market, and they have farms that come there and bring.
Z-A-Y-C-O-N. That's
I've
the-
heard of that, I've never done
Yeah.
that, but they've heard of that, I've heard of that. The last one, is, at the top it says match game. So see if you can match from the discussion, if you, maybe you can remember what I said.
Okay.
And then print clearly, very clearly, your name and your phone and email address, I'll have your contact information if you have any interest below, and a nutritional assessment, lifestyle management, recipes for the bread products, which I brought with me, if you have any questions, and supplementation. Just fill that out and we'll collect them.
Can you go over how much it costs for the nutritional assessment and all this? If I'm interested in, what is it, like, what is it
A
cost?
nutritional assessment is $125, the lifestyle management is $250, the recipes for the bread products are free, and the supplements you have to pay Shackley, not me. This system here, this 2-bottle system is $28.55 plus tax and shipping. Okay, that's for probiotics.
Oh, so you have to go through Shackley to.
Yes, that's a Shackley product. The silver here, I think online, this one maybe 16-18, the 16-ounce one is $24.25, and this one,
You can get that on Amazon. Yeah,
I'm
full Prime
thinking
members.
it's,
You get everything.
yeah, I do too, yeah.
Well, you have to pay for shipping and all, unless you have Amazon Prime or.
Yeah.
Prime is not expensive. It's
It's
$10 a
not.
month, and
That's-
I
yeah.
mean, we order so much stuff on Amazon
I
because
do
you get
too.
free 2-day shipping on everything.
I do too.
It's like, I mean, you make it back every month, the $10.
If I
do.
can, if I can just go to Jungle Gym and get that same product.
Well, I'm not saying they don't have it, but that's right, I just placed an order for my grandson's birthday
I
present.
have it on my phone. I can be at work and be like, I need this. I can order it right there, and it can be at my house in 2 days.
I know, it's awesome, I love it.
Amazon Prime.
Does that have to be refrigerated once you open it or just leave it out?
I just keep this in my cabinet.
Oh, okay.
And this, yeah. Who knows what healthy digestive system? What would you? What line? What matches it on the right side?
Balance flora.
Yeah. Lifestyle management program.
Oh no, healthy weight loss.
Yeah. Nutritional assessment.
The pictures of
Wow. Freshly milled wheat
delicious healthy bread.
and contains 100% natural vitamin E.
Wheat berry.
Oh, I did a good job.
Yeah.
No, they did a good job. They all listened.
Come on. Okay. The last of your printouts are the recipes of the breads after you're going to sample. The basic dough is the wheat one, okay? And then the spelt, samples of that, there, cinnamon rolls, and the cookies. Now, we'll tell you this, the milling of the wheat takes you about, well, you saw how fast that was. The bread has 2 rises to it, okay? The first rise is 45 minutes, the next one's 25, okay? So that it's nice and fluffy, and a little trick I do, I keep a little boiling water in a tiny container in my oven because it keeps it really moist. Except for the cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls is a 45-minute rise period. It's just one rise, you bake them, and then the glaze recipe's on there. The cookies are the fastest. Just it takes about as long to make those as it does the other recipe. So, and they're soft. There's samples out there. You will try them. Any questions or comments now before
I
we
do have a question, rather than milling my own, what is it, that ingredient, the bran or whatever, can I just buy the flour and all that stuff from the resources that you provided instead of milling it yourself, or do they actually send you
you get the berry,
you get the berry, but you have to grind?
but you have to know. Yes.
So I have
Because
to
for
have-
them to mill it, then they gotta get it to you quickly. And that's where the
Oh,
problem's
so
at.
you really need to get them milled. to get
Yeah.
them to do
Yeah,
this.
because when you mill that, that's 100% nutrition right there. All the flora, vitamin
But
E.
they have the actual green.
If you buy the flour on the store shelf, how long has it been sitting
Yeah, it's
there?
been old,
There's
yeah.
nothing in it, but except
Well, if
for-
there's something in it, it's chemical.
Right, it is. So, any other questions before we do samples and Michael starts his videos?
Where's Williamsburg? Where's those eggs at again?
Yeah.
Williamsburg,
Yeah, is Williamsburg like going toward a million? Is that on?
it's further out.
It's way out 32.
Oh.
Skate,
Past
area,
Skate.
Batavia, and then Williamsburg.
Oh, so it's way out there.
Pretty much the only.
It's really
That
not
might be a
that
nice little
far.
road trip though.
It's really not that far.
It's probably-
One thing I did forget to mention, 2 scriptures. One is in Genesis 6:3, and see, I really was stumped over this because I believe firmly, you know how sometimes you just know something in your know. I knew you were supposed to live to be 100, 120, 140, I knew that. But nobody taught that, 60, 70, 80, you're supposed to die. I knew better than that. And one day, this was several years ago, I was running through the family room. I was doing laundry, went back to change laundry, the television was on, I was running through the house and back upstairs, and Joyce Meyer was on. And she taught this, and I heard her say that, and it was Genesis something. And I ran in front of the TV and said, oh, I wanted her to say that reference again, but she didn't. And I said, God, show me where that is. So it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, as I was reading, I saw it. It's in there. Genesis 6:3. It's in there. We were to live to be 120 years old. Now, when people say, yeah, but that was then. Through the cross, what changed? We don't have to do sacrifices anymore, and Jesus is our high priest. We can just go straight. We don't have to have a priest, an earthly priest. But that didn't change. So what the Lord taught me in all this is it's choices that we make everywhere, whether it's physically, spiritually, the choices that we make. And I used to hear this, and I'm sure you've heard it too, if you've been in church very long. Matthew 22:14. Many are called and few are chosen. I heard my dad preach that a lot. I don't know why I didn't ask him about it, but I did. And I've heard other preachers say, many are called and few are chosen. And I thought, God, that just doesn't, I couldn't come up with why. If he called you, why weren't you chosen? I just couldn't figure it. So over a period of time, what he was teaching me was this, that very thing, the choices you make in every way. Just like with myself, my own personal experience. When he brings things to me that he wants me to change, wants me to deal with, whether it's physical or spiritual, whatever, and I listen to that and I do it, all the airways are open and I continue to hear him and, he speaks to me and I understand what it is. But if I don't, I decide I'm just pretty much do things my way, I don't hear like I did before. And that's because he doesn't make us do anything. We have a choice. And he keeps, coaxing us to do things. But if we don't, he's never forced anybody. We have a free will. He's just, okay. So he doesn't push you, but then you open the door to the enemy. So I know, even though I'm in my 60s, I haven't even started yet. I've got this fire in me. I've got this something in me that I know yet to be done. I know it. I know it. I know it. And so I want to be well and to be healthy and strong and ready to do it. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to be when I grow up. But I know that I'm learning and adding the steps to it. So those are just the things that he led me through. And it took, really it was longer than 7 years. But the healing physically was 7 years because nobody I saw did it. They just didn't.
Well,
But it's because they didn't know what to tell me.
Well, the one scripture that really fits in well with this and everything else is we perish for lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
So
And you see a lot of that,
everybody nowadays, you hear about people want to be healthy, eat healthy, and this and that. But most of the time, they think they're eating healthy if they go get a nutrition bar in a store. It's really not healthy.
So I'm going to do 2 recipes I've never done before, just to show you what they're all recipes we have. And they're Brenda's recipes. One of them is grilled salmon with rosemary, and one of them is the chopped chicken salad. Yeah, chopped salad with chicken or turkey. We're doing chicken, and she called for chicken and water, right?
Right.
Okay. I was going to grill a chicken recipe, but I said, no, I'll do this the way the recipe said. So we'll do that. And the other thing I'm going to do is, when I was working with Dr. Mike Rogan and talking about healthy eating, when I go to health fairs, I started showing this stuff. Has anybody seen one of these work? These are fun. These are really fun. This is called a spiral vegetable cutter. And what we will do is I will take the zucchini, the yellow squash, the turnip, and the golden beets, and I'll turn them into spaghetti strands. I'll steam them in the water over there. You can make your own pasta sauce like I would do. Normally I would just take it and take tomatoes and cut them up with onions and some basil and some fresh oregano and just make a sauce. Or read your labels. Read your labels, okay? And you can go to someplace like Jungle Jim's. This is Jungle's only actual one. It's always affordable. And this one has important Italian tomatoes, onions, olives, salt, crushed red pepper, garlic, basil, and pepper. That's it.
That's
No,
Jumbo's
that's
brand.
That's Jungle Jim's brand. Yeah, yeah.
So that's pretty clean then, isn't it?
It is very clean. It is very clean. It's always getting on sale. So it's kind of cool. I think when I bought this one, it was $1.99. So I like that one. So we'll do that. In the meantime, while we're doing this, I'll show you some knife skills. I probably don't have to show her knife skills. She's been practicing for 2 years. Right? 3 years? Okay, 3 years. But I will show you some knife skills. And the knife skills are kind of important. Let's start with the salad. And if anybody wants to step up and try them as we're doing it, we will. This recipe calls for 1/3 cup of chopped cucumber. I'm using these small pickle cucumbers. I kind of like the flavor of them. You notice I'm holding my hand. Okay? Everything's tucked behind, and the knife runs down here. And the reason we do that, you notice when I cut this, I'm going to cut it this side up. Because if I cut it this side up, there's a good chance that it'll slide off of here. And I've had some serious cuts that way myself. But, so I'll cut this into pieces because this is just supposed to be chopped. But it's this way. When you hold the knife, you don't hold it back here. Don't do that. You hold it by the hilt. Pinch your finger and your thumb and your forefinger on the hilt so you have complete control. If you meet a chef, and I guarantee you she probably has one, they'll have a callus right here. See? Yeah, they have a serious callus right
I've
there.
actually had other chefs that I've met for the first time just grab my hand and check for one.
Check for
Okay.
one?
You're
Yeah, you have that callus. This thing's been with me probably since I was about 15 years old. You know, and it's just there. But, and it's real simple because once you get used to this, you can talk to people, you get the same size cut, you can look at people and talk to people, there's not a problem. And I'll never cut anything because of the way I've cut it. Did you see that? Or were you watching me?
You're amazing.
No, it's real simple. If you take a look, all these cuts are the same. And if you notice the motion of the knife that I was using, the knife was actually going forward like this. It wasn't chopping. So,
cringe.
you don't want to try this? It's real simple. It's real simple. It's like this, okay? And it's running down my knuckle. It's just running down the knuckle. That's the size of the cut. And that's exactly the chop. You need a 1/3 cup of this in this recipe. How close are we, folks? This 1/3 cup. And you can always put a little bit more in just because you got it.
It's good for you.
Love it.
Go.
Right. Avocado, you need a 1/3 cup of this. Be careful with avocados, ladies, gentlemen. Yeah, this one's really
That's how I do it.
Yeah.
That's not a very ripe. You know how you can tell when it's ripe? Is you take that little thing at the end, you can tell if they're ripe or not. If it's yellowish, it's ripe. If
There was
it's-
an NBA player recently, by the way, who just got a good cut. No, a pro football player, because he was taking the seed out, and you know, you take the seed out, you turn it. This one's really
Yeah.
okay, but anyways, he got a heck of a cut.
All right.
I don't have a spoon here. I need a spoon over here, guys. So I
I
can
got
do
this
this.
perfect spoon for you to use for avocados. It's got,
You do?
It's got, yeah, I can bring it to you sometime. It's actually got ridges.
I just like throwing stuff today,
It's a grapefruit spoon, actually. It's got ridges on the sides.
I have those, I think.
That might even be tough with the.
Oh, yeah, you need to have my spoon.
This is a tough avocado.
Yeah.
I just bought
It's
these.
because it's not right.
I bought these at Sam's because I knew I was going to be using them next week.
Yeah,
I
I've
don't want
done
to buy
that.
more avocados for this. I have avocados at home.
Now, the next time you go buy an avocado.
It's going in a salad, so I figured, okay, it'll be crunchy.
Crunchy avocado.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great. You can make anything work though.
yeah, when you go buy an avocado again, just take a little pit out and the jello, it's right. And I never had a bad avocado.
No?
I did, I never.
Glenn, am I doing this right for your salad? Huh?
I wish I could do that well.
It's just practice, isn't it?
Yeah, I have a knife like that, so.
I won this knife at a,
Competition?
no, at a contest. Consolidated to me.
Nice.
Oh, I couldn't hadn't shown up for anything in a long time, and I go in and I'm one of the older chefs. I used to be one of the older chefs. I'm one of the older chefs.
I know that feeling.
And all of a sudden, I won this knife, and it was like, oh, come on. Give it to one of the young kids. You chop these finer?
Just do a lot easier than I do. Then I'll do it like that next time.
Well, it's all how you want to do it. And you really should never take your eyes off of what you're cutting. You know, what I did earlier was just showing off.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't look away.
Vertical cut. What else goes in for?
And you bother measuring because
Because you're good. Because you're well. I had these all washed and done. All of this stuff was bought at Jungle Gyms for the most part, in the organic section, to make you all happy.
Yay, because I'm organic all the way.
What I found is I started buying organic bananas years ago because they could, and organic golden potatoes, Yukon Golds. They tasted better, they were sweeter. And organic bananas, even though they were turned black on the outside, were still perfect on the inside. Because they haven't been injected with anything to try to ripen them quicker. It's really good.
Oh, don't tell me that they're injecting bananas now.
Oh, was that?
With what?
Just some, I forget what it is, some kind of compound that help them ripen quicker.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
to ruin, yeah,
I
that was
thought that was
dull.
something's left. I think they were doing something with potatoes, but not bananas.
That was dull. This gets tomatoes, doesn't it? Chopped tomatoes. I'm right here. Oh, the wrong one, this one.
yeah.
Chopped tomato, yeah, avocado, celery, yeah.
This is salmon.
Yeah, well, I just figure if we make this first, we get this out of the way. So, everybody here cooks, right?
Yep,
Do we cook on a Sunday so we have food for the week, or are we cooking through the week?
I cook throughout the week. Because I never know what I want.
You what? At all?
I work, my husband. He stays home.
Okay, so does he cook healthy?
He tries. He has a NutriBullet. He likes to make shakes.
There you go.
What kind of shakes?
That's my kind of cook. He likes kale, and
Uh-huh.
I won't. I like mine with just fruit. I don't eat it. You can't taste kale once in a shake. I will just, it looks gross. I will drink the fruit ones. If they have like carrot or something in them, I'll still drink them, but if they have anything green in them, no.
Some people really like these stems. I hate these stems.
I agree.
When I was in the restaurant business, and when I was in catering also, for event centers, I would make the dishwashers, I actually did all this, them sit there and pull all of these out like this. Even if I was at a party for 800, I didn't care. It's just, they're bitter. I don't necessarily need bitter. So I usually just take those out like that. It's pretty simple. She wants it chopped. I think it's a cupful, right? Yeah, 1 cup. Chopped romaine.
Of all the cooking shows I watch, you're the only one that's ever taken that apart.
Well, you know,
That's great. I do.
I could have been on a cooking show.
I think, yeah.
No, you turned it down.
Oh, you did?
It's hindsight. Hindsight is an amazing thing. Richard Perry, who was one of the great American chefs, had a place here in Cincinnati called Richard Perry's Cafe Deluxe. He was at the Omni for years in the workage room as the general manager.
Beautiful place.
And Richard and I was the chef de cuisine, he was the executive chef there, and they asked Richard and I to come up to New York and tape some shows for this new show called Food Network. Brand new.
Yeah.
We don't take a couple, they came back to the restaurant, they take 2 there, we had a great time. Then they asked us to actually sign a contract and keep taping up in New York. I looked at Richard looking at me, I'm like, yeah, I can never fly. God, hindsight. I had you see, I just bought this garlic today at Krogar's. Smells good. You guys do that?
Mm-hmm.
They do.
I don't really much to
You notice I didn't kill it. You notice I didn't go, bam! I didn't do that, okay? It's just, it's not what I hit, just to get it down. And this calls for a tablespoon or a teaspoon. Two cloves finely chopped. These are large.
I was gonna say there's a big hole.
Now, when you're finely chopping something like this doesn't call for any parsley in it. There's a couple ways to do it. You can do it this way. And I'm going to show you something they never show her in school. Never. But when you've got, say, once again, a dishwasher, and you tell him that you've got a plate up 800 tonight, and I need parsley for every plate. Oh, okay? You do what we call double knife it. You take two knives like this, pretty equal size, put your hand, index finger in between the two, grab them back here, and notice I'm still on the hilt, okay? And you have a very short period of time minced garlic. You would never see that. You would never see that in school.
No.
I do not, and I don't know why they don't teach it. Because I was taught in French
They want you
kitchens.
to do everything the longest, hard way around. That's what I believe.
And I'm a shopper, so I have to make some lime juice for this. Am I correct? Lime juice? Yeah, lime juice. Now I could squeeze this lime.
That's what I
I'm
do.
softening it up right now. I could do all kinds of things to it to get the juice out. But I took an event center over once, and there was this juicer there. I really liked it. And I'm walking through Aldi's one day. I love that little German store. There's little gadgets there that are fun to buy. I was walking through Aldi's one day, and for $7.89, I got this juicer.
Oh, I've been looking for that. I was looking for one like that. My friend
Aldi's.
has one. Is it Aldi's has that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
One lime.
Is it the Aldi's on Beachmont?
That's where I found that one. No. I found that one at the Aldi's in Eastgate. I'd be fibbing if it. 1, 2, one lime. How simple is that? Yeah?
I like the recipe's amounts.
Yeah.
It's what it is. It is what it is.
How did our parents measure stuff in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah, pinch of that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't measure.
They never used a measuring cup.
4 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm just reading it right here. Now it says a teaspoon of black pepper. I don't have any black pepper out, but what I do keep around me, and I made this while you guys were in there, and she's probably seen it, you always keep a mixture of salt and pepper, just so that you can just take it and just
What kind of salt are you using?
kosher on that one. Most of the time at home I use sea salt,
Yeah, sea salt.
but it's what was here.
Yeah, I've been using a lot of Himalayan salt. It's really healthy for you. It's got minerals and stuff.
I think that's the entire dressing. I have the lettuce, the radishes, the celery, the avocado, the tomato, the cucumber. The only thing I don't have in there, this is the dressing. This is what I put.
Is the dressing recipe in her folder?
I have it here. I don't have copies made.
No, I just have the bread recipe.
If you email Brenda or me, and I'll give you my email, I'll send it to you. Because I'll just put it in my MasterCook system and just send it to you, and then I'll have all the nutrition breakdowns on it.
That sounds good.
I like my MasterCook system. You drain this before we put it in, Brenda?
I do.
It's your recipe.
And, like you have my contact information on the card.
Because that's a dressing that I would probably use on a regular basis. I usually use Now, sometimes you can use apple cider vinegar too instead of lime. You could probably use apple cider.
You could, but I like using the fresh things.
Using the lime.
Yeah, I really like using, I wasn't watching. I really like, it's all going together anyways, I mean. Did you see that? Did you see that guy?
What was in there in that can?
Chicken.
Chicken?
Yeah.
Smells awesome. That looks great.
That's what That's how easy that salad was to make, okay? How long did it take us?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Made a salad. Now, if you're going to do the salmon at home, salmon's really easy. You have it here. Once again, Jungle of the Gins.
Jungle of Gins.
Now, does this salmon skinless when you do it, or skin on?
Yeah, you have skin on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Skin on or off?
Mm-hmm. On.
On? Okay. Do you know how, everybody here, can we do it skin off? If I want to teach my skin. Does everybody here know how to skin fish? If you buy salmon and you want, my wife loves the skin of salmon on there.
I leave it on there and use it because I'm baking it or boiling it.
Okay, I'll just take a little piece off. Okay. Okay. Because we're going to do it on here, on the charcoal. Can we get away with that? Okay. Take your knife and you make a little cut right here, okay? You have to have a good sharp knife. And you're going to take the knife and move it back and forth, but you're going to pull the salmon towards you like this.
Okay, so you can take it off before you do it. I just took it off.
I thought the skin was supposed to be melted.
Some people don't like it. So I'm just teaching you how to skin a fish. You can do this with
Yeah.
almost anything.
It has a stronger taste.
It's just a class.
Yeah.
And you're learning how to do
Yeah.
these things.
Well, one thing with the skin, when you bake it with the skin, you get that flavor. But I don't eat the skin.
Right, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Less flavor.
Yeah, I like the flavor.
recipe- Which one is it?
Do you want me to read it to you as you go along?
So are we doing 2 teaspoons of extra virgin oil? Is this something that we brush on as we go? Or do we dip it in?
I only did that recipe once.
Okay. Yeah. 2 teaspoons.
I make bread every week, those kinds of things.
Cinnamon rolls every
Oh,
week.
there's some.
I don't think you have a problem with that, do you?
Oh, no.
Okay.
You're never
2
gonna
teaspoons
see
of
my
fresh
favorite.
lemon juice. So here we go with the lemon again, with this juicer. This is juicy.
I can't wait to go get my juicer. I haven't even done this for a long time.
I don't work hard.
That's the best. That's the best juicer.
Just don't want to use it to juice like 50 limes in a row.
You what?
You said you don't want to use it to juice 50 limes in a row.
Why is that?
No, because it's Cincinnati steak, they will have it cut in half, and they will have your hands in here, and you'll be squeezing them through, right? Yeah.
And I did learn putting cheesecloth over
Okay,
and then squeezing it
you touch it down.
as a fellow student.
Did you have Meg for anything, Calvin?
That's a good idea because then you have to
Was
get
she
the
here?
signs.
No.
Maya.
No?
No,
No?
Maya. I can't remember who my baking teacher was. She was new, young woman. I had Jeff Sheldon.
Uh-huh.
He was my first chef. And he
Who was your first chef?
Yes.
That's Chef Newman there, guys. Yeah.
Really good at blowing it off.
You should be. I mean, because, let me tell you.
Yeah, whatever.
No, because you'll read this stuff in certain magazines and all where women are not respected in the kitchen. And for the most part, they're not. It's basically still a man's world, and they're jerks. They really are jerks. However, one of my closest friends One of my closest friends is a woman named Dominique Cadden. She has a restaurant in San Francisco that right now is rated number 2 in North America.
Wow.
And she's the only existing 3-star Michelin chef, female, in North America, and one of only 3 in the world. That's female. And when she went to open that restaurant, she called me. I was at the Avenue having a drink with a friend. It came up, the phone number came up, I thought it was somebody else, Scott Perry, another friend of mine from California. I answered the phone, I said, hello? And she goes, Chef Maker, this is Dominique. I said, Dominique, how are you? She's a French woman. And she wants to open a restaurant. I did everything I could to talk about it. Everything I could. She wanted business plans. I had 3 of them. I sent them to her because I couldn't talk about it. About a year and a half ago, I wrote an apology letter telling her that I'm glad she didn't take my advice. She's booked 2 years out. She has a tasting menu. It was all her. So just call it the driver. Rosemary? I have no capers today.
Oh, I love capers. You know what? I use
I do
capers.
too.
I used capers for dressing one time. It was the best. Big capers with lemon or lime.
If you happen to make your own tartar sauce, you should always put capers
I
in it.
love.
I love capers,
Love that.
especially in the dressing.
Mhm.
Love that. Put them in my little food processor, make a food dressing.
So we all learn a job like this? I'm going to teach your husband this, right? Go home and teach your husband this. Show him how to do this.
Why isn't he
We
here?
would need a knife that was anywhere close to that sharp. I don't know.
Get him one of these.
He does. I pretty much work and then I sleep. That's not
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's very good.
So that's it, right? Got the pepper in there, got the rosemary, lemon juice, salt, olive oil, salmon's over there. We're going to put this on the salmon and grill it. But before we actually do that, I'm going to show you my fun tool. This is how I get my grandkids to eat a lot of stuff too. Of course, my grandkids eat almost anything. You notice I have a towel here under that board so that board's not sliding all over the place. At home, I actually use a piece of mat like you put on
I
a
do
shelf.
too, Dyson, that's what I do, I use Dyson.
This is a spiral vegetable cutter. There's all kinds of brands out there. If you're going to buy one that says Padrino. They don't break. This one was bought online. It's Bed Bath & Beyond has them. I got a fettuccine blade in there right now. This is a spaghetti. And this is if you're going to do like an apple or pear tart or something, it'll cut it nice and thin. So you got 3 blades with it.
Seems really similar to mandolin.
Kind of, yeah.
Sideways mandolin.
But I have a brown mandolin at home. And I still use it.
Wow.
I love my mandolin. But, so what we're going to do is you take this is a turnip, right? Just show you all kinds of things. You're going to stick it on there, you stick it on there. And then you back it off like this, so you cut it a little, and you end up with these like strands of fettuccine. They're fun. And you can put a meal on the table pretty quick at night.
That's a great substitute for pasta.
Now, what are you going to do though? Here's another question. I'm a trained French chef, so my garbage is wet. She should know what I mean by that. I cook everything down. I mean, everything gets cooked down. I could go further down, but I usually it comes down to about here. I'll take this and I'll dice it up, I'll saute it, and I'll throw it in a rice dish. I'll throw it in something, but I'll use it. Okay? Here's my other favorite.
Make a
Golden
soup.
beets. I love golden beets. Yeah, you can put in the soup.
I've been making a lot of soups lately. It's so easy.
Now, these are already peeled. A golden beet actually looks like this before I peel it.
Okay. I've never used one.
They're much more mild. Have the same kind of nutritional qualities.
I'm just curious to see, what is that like Woolworths or Oh, you can use the whole.
I just set it up in there. And here's a zucchini.
I was wondering how to use that.
Zucchini's easy.
Oh, that's the blade that you put in there, okay,
Yeah.
wow.
Then what I'll do, yeah, fun. And you can use it in all kinds of vegetable dishes, these extra pieces, I never throw them out. And that just keeps it interesting, because it challenges you to think about things differently. But if you don't want to eat all that pasta, you don't want all that
Exactly.
heavy stuff sitting in your tummy, this is a great way to take any kind of pasta sauce. I don't care if it's a marinara sauce, I don't care if it's a pesto. Just go ahead and take this stuff, and there's two ways you can cook these. You can cook them, number one, in a pot like I'm doing. You can steam them, or put them in a microwave dish or a glass bowl, no water, cover it tight with plastic, put it in the microwave, or put it in a microwave safe cover, put it in the microwave, steam it for about 3 minutes, and it's done. Wow, it takes a long time to put that dinner on the table.
Yeah.
This is going to be a side dish today, the salmon. Because you guys don't have to eat this stuff. Let's go home and cook. I have my grandkids coming over, 2 or 3.
How are they?
These 3 are 35 months, 22 months, and 3 months. She had them back to back to back. And I have one that's in the Burton canal right now, but not this family. Kind of stuck there right now. So we'll just take these, we'll throw it over here. Simple as can be. I turned the exhaust hood off so it wouldn't, so you could hear me. It's nice to have in the kitchen like this, you just go like that.
Oh, it would be nice. That's why every kitchen should be.
Well, my kitchen at home is pretty stoked. You know, and it's set up with counters on either side and then a counter in front. And there's the stools and there's the dining room behind it, so, and the stove is right here. So as I'm cooking, I'm talking to people sitting there and having fun.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm drinking wine.
That's my dream.
And then I have a prep kitchen down below, so it's kind of nice. And I got lucky with that house. That's all there is to it.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you live?
Actually, I live in Madison Place. My backyard butts up to Marymount, so I get all of the joys of Marymount without the taxes.
Ah, there you go.
That's smart.
That's like
However,
me.
my taxes are higher than I paid in Anderson. Well, Anderson's taxes are going up.
That's when I live close to Anderson. I don't have to pay the Anderson taxes. I pay Fremont taxes. So I kind of close to Anderson. There's really all the Anderson benefits.
Yeah, brush.
Where do you live in Anderson?
I live right on the edge, right on the, I'm like right on the line of Hamilton County and Claremont
Okay.
County. Well, I mean Claremont.
Right there at
Mount
Hopperville.
Carmel, Nebraska.
Okay.
Right near Clough.
Yeah.
Close to Clough. And if you drive to Clough, all of a sudden, or something, there's a line right there, like, for a while, there's like, are you Hamilton County or Hamilton?
Yeah.
Salmon. How do we like our salmon cooked, ladies? How do you like your salmon cooked?
Yeah. Well done. Like you.
See, I got well done and I got barely.
Barely. Well. I just.
How about if I go somewhere in
How
between?
about in between, like medium?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so this is her.
The
This
tail
is,
end would do well if the other end is medium.
that's what the turnip looked like before I peeled it and ran it. This is what golden beet looks like beforehand. Of course, there's zucchini. Stuff looks like. It's pretty simple. Any questions? Anybody want to try cutting anything? Anybody want to try their hand at using a knife? Come on.
I cut all, I do enough cooking.
What brand did you say?
Oh, that's Pedrino. The box right behind you.
Okay. Isn't there a restaurant called Padrino's in Milford?
Yes, it is.
This is Moderna.
Yes, it is. Matter of fact, I used to own a restaurant in Milford back in 1974. I bought it from Sally Huff. It was called the Millcroft.
I used to love that place.
What was the name of it?
Millcroft.
Oh, yeah.
I bought it in 1974 from Sally Huff. And in 1975, I sold it to the Edwards, he and his wife. And I took a corporate position, especially in restaurants out of California, out of Long Beach. And I had the East Coast of the United States and I got the whole United States. I had a wife for like 5 years. I lived out of a suitcase. I was home maybe twice a month for about a day and a half. That's
not a life.
that's me. So, hey, I did all the restaurants on the Queen Mary in Wichita. Whoopee. I still didn't have a wife. I lost my wife, that wife. I lost 2 wives that way. They ran off with other guys. I finally found one that put up with me.
Didn't Brian make work home?
So you had another one
She was
for a
busy.
year?
I owned it for a year. Yeah.
Yeah, we miss that. We talk about that every once in a while.
The Millcroft?
Yeah.
Somebody should do something with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a shame. We love this.
Nice.
We need a grill this size, honey.
I do, yes. I would have a big time with that.
Yes, me
You'd have a good time in this size kitchen.
You know, when I came here to the church, this had all cabinets up there, all beaten up and nasty.
Yeah.
It looked like somebody's home kitchen, but horrible. So we talked about it. We tore it apart and put my design. I put it like this, exactly so I could do just this right here. See how I had the tables in the back and this one came in and all. I do a cooking class out here. That's a ministry. It's mostly for what I call pre-believers and non-believers, but if you're a believer, you have to bring somebody with you who's not, or at least doesn't go to church yet. Okay? And we have a hands-on cooking class, and it takes a good 2 hours because we're really teaching. They're all hands-on. And then we eat all the food that we made. Everybody's making food. We make enough for everybody to have a full dinner. We sit down and we break bread and share the word.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
It's an absolute.
Eating in the Bible reading.
Well, I had another chef, Mark Waver, who's actually one of the most popular artists of the Pendleton. But he was a sous chef with me for years. It's like a soup Nazi, but he knew the Bible better than me.
A soup Nazi?
Oh God, favorite soups.
I'm really good at soups too, actually. I just made a coconut chicken soup.
Coconut chicken?
It's actually chicken broth. And, I use that almond coconut milk stuff and I combine those two. And I just sauteed, I did a veggie chicken thing, but anyway, it's called for chicken. I didn't have any chicken, so.
Now I'm doing a,
And it had like vegetables like mushrooms and onion and red curry paste
I'm doing
and
a
lemongrass.
salmon tonight at home. I'm grilling it for the kids. And I'm marinated with a little sesame oil, just a touch of ice vinegar. Too much vinegar will take over. You have to be careful with that. And a coconut curry paste.
I like those.
And garlic and some cilantro.
Can we come too?
Yeah, we're all crashing your party.
You know, my soup only took 10 minutes, that coconut curry soup. I feel like doing a cooking class on my soup because the soups are so fast.
Yes, they are fun.
I sauteed the chicken, you can use chicken or chicken or whatever, and you saute it and add the broth and stuff. And vegetables, whatever vegetables you like.
I love it. But that's because I was
You're fast.
I was relatively successful. I had a lot of apprentices, and you know what you guys do. I keep losing colors.
I know, don't you hate that when you're cooking in your kitchen and you lose your like spoon or something like, where did it go?
Hey, at least at home, I clean up the house. My wife's my to do that. Okay, here's the salad, right?
Come on. Perfect.
I'm just
Such
smelling
a-
it.
I love
We're sniffers.
the flavor of the it's got a little bite to it.
Grew up on turnips.
Looks like a giant radish.
I used to go out, I grew up on a farm, and one of my favorites was a turnip. I'd always go out there, I'd have a salt shaker and my pocket knife. Go out, pull the turnip out of the ground, wipe it off, not wash it off, just wipe it
Wipe it
off.
off, that's it.
Peel it, salt it, slice it, and eat it.
Boy, that salad's so pretty.
How colorful.
Oh my goodness. So pretty. Oh,
What about
beautiful.
presentation?
If you present it well to your kids, let me tell you, they'll eat it. It looks good.
That's the color of health right there.
That is.
You thought I was just joking back all the time, I wasn't either.
Oh, man, dude.
That's the
Sure.
We enjoy it. It's very much.
Bon appetit. You know, that's what they're for.
So what do we do with Paul?
Stand there and eat. I'm sure that you're capable. Tell them what the other
Well,
day.
I'm here with put the fish on top of it.
No, the fish is gonna go on a separate plate.
Oh, okay.
Just it. Ah, here you go. Good?
Yeah.
Short recipe.
Can you email them to us or?
Email me when you're ready.
What I want you to understand, what I did here today, is that what I did was extremely simple. You're not eating?
I don't eat, I'm telling you, I don't eat
When you eat this green stuff that's cooked, a little bit, there's just a little in there. Pick around it, and get the other stuff that's not
I'll eat the
cooked.
meat, that's about all I'm gonna eat. I will eat the salmon.
Hey, honey, you know who she sounds like?
Wow.
Rita,
I'm gonna make a plate specifically.
My sister.
for you,
What's your
okay?
favorite food, or what is your favorite food?
See this one here?
Meat?
You're a typo for sure, aren't you?
I'm a typo, no, that's not true.
Look, see that one? Nothing
I'm
green.
positive, I don't.
Nothing green on that plate, that's for you.
Right there. When I put the salmon on, okay?
Everything green is my
What
favorite.
is the orange stuff?
I love it.
It's golden meat.
Is it,
Yeah.
is it beef?
Oh, it's wonderful, once you taste it. Everybody's ever said that when they tasted the golden beet, go, oh, it's really good.
I'll try it.
Good, I appreciate that. You're not allowed to not like something until you try it.
Right.
That's right.
It's so good for your heart. Now, I did hate mushrooms up until my husband made me try them a few weeks ago, and now I absolutely.
I love mushrooms. I love them too.
I don't think there's a
That's
vegetable I don't
okay.
like.
But I do like them like stuffed with cheese.
And I'm the only
Well,
one in
no.
my house who likes mushrooms.
I love them. You go straight to your vegetables, you're gonna get heart disease. Don't you?
So you pick those out?
I won't touch them, he said they taste my favorite.
what's that, mushrooms? Yeah,
Mushrooms are,
I love
Yeah.
them too. They're,
I mean,
they're good.
they have a little bit of flavor, but they're rubber. It's like,
Well,
Anybody have any
well,
problem with cheese?
Cheese.
Parmesan cheese?
Love it.
Everybody
Yeah.
okay with it?
I like cheese.
yeah,
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Be a good lunch. Pack this with the chicken in it.
For a quickie?
What can I love that salad.
Huh?
I love
I like
that.
it. So simple.
But I don't like some.
Simple is good.
Yeah, or that. Same way with that shrimp. There's strings.
How many people get out there? 9? Good.
I love vegetables.
I
like
do too,
tomatoes,
but I don't know
I
about
just don't like the texture.
And for those of you who don't know, I'm walking around on a new knee.
Brand new knee.
December 15th.
Good job. You're doing great.
We're leaving for Israel April 1st. Well, will you go to church? No, you can actually go on our next trip. We had 2 women on this particular trip. There's no way they were going to come up with the money. So they went out in front of the body of the church and they put out a message through email also. And they just told them they had humility, they taught them humility, and they asked for help. It's a $4,000 trip. Each one of them raised $6,000 to the church
Oh my gosh.
in 2 weeks.
Really?
This is an amazing church.
That's how God works, you know, God provides. Oh, I'm sorry.
Probably a little longer than him because our pastor used to take our youth group.
To Israel?
Yes.
Several,
And when 911 hit, they quit doing it.
several.
Really?
Yeah, the parents just kind of
For today.
were nervous, I think, more than anything.
I wonder if you could try to start.
I think God's working on me because I have to tell you what, he's been sending me to so many different churches. He knows I'm searching.
Seriously.
No, but,
Trying to find some certain instruments. To train about it.
This is the first time I've done this. Nice.
So 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, very
I
nice.
thought it was
Yeah. And it's Revelations tomorrow.
You ever tried River Tree Church in Milford? That's a little bit too far. Is it too far for you? I've seen it. It's out there. I don't really want to do that.
I understand.
There you go.